What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Off the Schneid. Today we're going to be talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good looking team in my opinion. Talking about their draft needs heading into the 2021 NFL draft. Draft needs, team needs, that kind of a thing. Ton of draft capital. Relatively active in free agency. And, last year I was talking them up like they were going to be some sort of world beater. Obviously, the team changed a bunch after I made those statements, but it is what it is. And I still think there's a ton to like about this Jaguar team. I really like a lot of the pieces they have in place here. And they have a ton of draft capital. First overall, Trevor Lawrence, don't even think about it. You're good to go. What does that mean for Gardner Minshew? Personally, I'm still a Gardner Minshew truther. I think that he is a quality player. He should go somewhere and be at the very least a very good backup or a place where he can compete to potentially be a starter if, maybe like the Texans or, I don't know, there's some other places, Jets, who knows? Like we'll see what happens. But I think that, again, I'm still a Gardner Minshew truther. I think that he's a very good player and it can be an NFL quarterback. Bringing in CJ Beathard and paying him what they did, it feels like he's probably going to be the backup there. Obviously, again, Trevor Lawrence, there's no need to have three quarterbacks like that on your roster with Jake Luton probably being, practice squad type of guy. Either way, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Gardner Minshew once they draft Trevor Lawrence. So beyond that, okay, what do you do? First overall, Trevor Lawrence, don't even think about it. Boom, turn in your pick. They have another first-round pick from the Rams at 25. So needs beyond that on the offensive side of the ball, I'm looking at the offensive line. I think they have very good tackles, Juwan Taylor and Cam Robinson, who they franchise tagged. Very good tackles. Nothing wrong there. And then the middle, the guards and centers, like there's nothing to hate about that at all. That's a quality. And this is the same line they had last year, and I believe the year before when Juwan Taylor was a rookie. So consistency, which is nice. But those three guys, the Norwell, Lindor, and Can, they're all getting a little bit older. They're towards the end of their contracts, that sort of a thing. So they do have Ben Barch there. But they're gonna need some additional bodies, some competition guys, some help, some guys of the future, that kind of a thing. Taylor and Robinson are going to be great for years, but they're going to need some guys up the middle there to help out. Brought in Marvin Jones, wide receiver, Philip Dorsett as well, Jamal Agnew. I don't see them looking at wide receiver too much. I mean, you could add a guy unless they take Colin Johnson, who I really like, and decide to play him more of that like tight end kind of hybrid role, 6'6", 220. So if you tell him, hey, Colin, go gain 20 pounds and you're going to play tight end for us. He was a 6th-round pick, so he's going to have to work to stay in the league, that kind of a thing. So he can definitely do that, be that move tight end. As far as I know, Tyler Eifert's actually not on this team. So they do have some depth guys, some depth pieces. And like I said, maybe you take Colin Johnson and convert him into a tight end. I don't think that that's a bad plan at all, given his size and stature, all that kind of stuff. Gain 20 pounds, be a move tight end type of a guy, red zone threat. And I think he could have a great career doing that. Laviska Shenault, DJ Chark, quite like I said, brought in Marvin Jones, who's a solid vet. Jamal Agnew, former cornerback. So they got some guys that they can do some stuff with. And I do assume that they grab a wide receiver at some point. A lot of draft capital. 5 picks in the top 65. So a lot of quality draft capital there. And running back, I think they're in a great spot, man. James Robinson, watching tape on Trey Lance from Illinois State. James Robinson's a stud. Have him on my fantasy team personally, my dynasty team, and I think he's a stud. I think he's a very, very good running back. Between J-Rob, Carlos Hyde, and Dario Ogunbowale, I think they're fine at the running back position. So I maybe they add a guy late in the draft, to just compete and potentially make the team type of guy. Sure, why not? But either way, I think the offense is in a good spot. I think they're in a quite good spot. Obviously, just throwing in Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, if they could get a tight end or maybe move Colin Johnson over there, pass catching tight end, I think that offense is in a very good spot. And then depth on the line. Moving to the defense, I fully expect, as far as I've heard, as far as I know, I fully expect them to move to a 3-4, which makes tons of sense because they absolutely have the pieces for it. Josh Allen, Kayvon Chason, and Dwayne Smoot getting after the quarterback type of thing, and then Tavon Bryan, Davon Hamilton, Malcolm Brown, plugging up the middle. You have depth in Jihad Ward, Adam Gotsis, whatever. You know what I mean? You got depth there. You absolutely have depth there in a 3-4. What I would add is another guy to help spell those guys. Dwayne Smoot, Chason, Allen can all play pretty much every down, get after the quarterback, that kind of a thing. But, you need some depth there. I actually quite like this defense a lot. There's a lot to like, in my opinion. Move to linebacker, you got Joe Schobert, who's fantastic, Miles Jack, who's fantastic. And then, between Damian Wilson, Shaq Horderman, Leon Jacobs, you got guys that can play that position, especially when you're moving to that 3-4 type of a thing. So realistically, I think Miles Jack and Joe Schobert are going to be the two inside linebacker starters. So we'll see. But man, I think there's tons to like about that. And then with the signing of Shaq Griffin, you got CJ Henderson from last year, Trey Herndon, Josiah Scott, Chris Claybrook, Sidney Jones. And for safeties, they just paid Rayshawn Jenkins a bunch of money, brought back Josh Jones. Daniel Thomas is still there. Rudy Ford. Andrew Wingard looked good a bunch of times last year. So I think there's a lot to like about this defense. The only place I would really look to add would be a 3-4 outside linebacker to help out with those guys. Dwayne Smoot's a little bit of a bigger, he did play defensive end, 4-3 defensive end, but so did Josh Allen. Either way, yeah, I think there's a lot to like. I think the Jags are going to surprise a bunch of teams next year. I said that last year, but again, the team was different, a lot different after I'd made those statements. So just adding some depth. In order of of need, in my opinion, and I'm just excluding quarterback because it's Trevor Lawrence. I'd probably go with 3-4 end. Outside linebacker, 3-4 outside linebacker. Interior line, wide receiver. That's pretty much it. Maybe a playmaker on the back end, another corner. You can never go wrong with having a bunch of good cornerbacks. But I think just depth on the line, a tight end depending on what they do, wide receiver. You just need a couple more playmakers on offense. Is kind of what I'm getting at. Is all I think that the Jags might be missing is another playmaker on offense. Laviska Shenault and DJ Chark are fantastic, and James Robinson, carrying the rock is fantastic. So just add some depth, and I think the Jags will surprise some teams this year. But there you go. There's your team needs for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Appreciate the watch, and we'll see you on the next one.